better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Kids go hard, live without boundaries, play with no fear, and enjoy every opportunity. How they feel tomorrow starts today. Keep them on their toes with proactive steps to be well. Looking out for their total health and wellness includes keeping them up to date on preventative immunizations, allowing them to be their best self every day. Talk to your pediatrician about a vaccine schedule that works for you.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
What's better than saving? Saving with certainty. Open a First Harvest Credit Union 7-month certificate online and earn 5.25% APY. Visit firstharvestcu.com/online exclusives to learn more about this online-only offer. Want more reasons why we're a better place to grow? Check out our other savings options, like our growth savings account with amazing rates. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for over 84 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, good morning, Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn Stensland this morning on the Dawn Stensland Show. I'll be here today, tomorrow, joined by my colleagues Henry Masha, Jim Kelly. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Pat.
All right, nice to have you guys with me this morning for the next 2 hours, and I invite you guys to join in the dialogue. I invite everybody to join in here. 855-839-1210 is the number, 839-1210. We'll be covering just about the gauntlet here for the next 120 minutes. I have a couple of people joining me at the bottom of this hour. Joe Pistardi, you may all remember him. He was a long time guy with AccuWeather, and he's going to be joining me, and now he's with a company called Weather Bell. But we're going to talk windmills and the great climate change hoax that just continues on the left. And Joe has some interesting opinions on that. And then at the bottom of the next hour, Sal Palantonio is going to be joining me. We're going to talk about some Eagles football. Sal is out at camp, and he'll give us the latest on what's going on there. And a bunch of newcomers out there with the Eagles, and a lot of expectations for the Eagles this fall. But some new guys, new offensive coordinator. You got Saquon there, and everybody's eyes are on Jalen Hurts as to, he didn't have a bad year last year. He didn't. But compared to 22, of course, it wasn't as good. And, of course, everybody remembers that 1-6 collapse at the end of the season. So a lot of curiosity about how the Eagles are going to shape up this summer. Of course, it's still a Phillies town right now. Phils have lost 4 straight series. I wouldn't panic about it. I mean, it's a long season. The baseball season is just, it makes campaign season look like nothing. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So you're only at the end of July. You still got August and September. And then finally the regular season ends, and then it's playoff time. Let's face it, the Phillies are here to do one thing, and that's win a World Series. That's how that team is built. So you just got to get through the next 2 months. Okay, so what else we got? What else we got today? We got obviously the tons of news going on. I want to talk about Bob Casey, and I'm telling you, he's got he has what may be an insurmountable lead. If you believe polls, which I know are always dicey. But he's got a substantial lead. And the question is, how do you beat this guy? How do you attack this guy? I don't know. We're going to look at that. Who is Bob Casey? What the hell does he do for a living? And I want to talk about that Olympics opening ceremony. It's obviously been all over the news. Everybody has discussed it. But, you just have to ask yourself, of course, like, what is this? What is this open season on Christianity? And the only way to stop it is if Christians, and there's only 3 billion of us. It's not like there's a lot on this planet. It's only 3 billion. But I don't know if most Christians give a damn. I don't think they do. They just seem to just go along. They go along, get along. And, of course, you imagine what would have happened had the Olympics opening ceremony parodied Islam and Muhammad. half of Paris would now be nothing but ash. But Christians, they just don't care. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that too. 855-839-1210 is the number here. I want you to join me. We can discourse on anything that you really want. But I want to start here with the what really is the coronation of Kamala Harris and how this all came about. And I think the first thing that strikes me is I think there's a palpable sense of relief amongst Democrats that Joe's gone. And it's not just Joe. It's the entire Biden/Clampett family is gone from or going from the scene. I mean, I wonder who's running the country right now. I don't know. Joe hasn't been heard of since that ghost-written letter in which he dropped out, and then he did that Oval Office thing for about 9 minutes. And our First Lady is in Paris enjoying the Olympics. And, of course, there's a great example, a weekly mass attendee and a great Catholic, her and Joe. And she gushed about how great the opening ceremonies were. They were fantastic. Not a word about the fact that they parodied the Last Supper and made a big joke out of it. But I think Democrats are just thrilled to death that this family is headed for the rearview mirror. I mean, let's face it, there was a ton of drama with them, especially with the son. They were clearly benefiting from Joe's political career and had made a ton of money off it, but the media protected them. And we're going to talk about that, too, in reference to Kamala. We're going to do that at the top of the next hour. It's so difficult for a Trump to win. It's so difficult for any Republican to win when the media is just absolutely lockstep lined up against you. And this is a recent phenomenon. It's really never been this bad. It's unbelievable. I mean, Molly Hemingway, who is a noted Republican social media commentator, she put some stuff out last night in which I don't know if it was she or somebody Googled assassination attempt on, and then she put in T. She typed in T. What came up on Google? Truman. She typed in TR, still Truman. TRU, and it never once. She got all the way to TRUM, and it never once did it suggest assassination attempt on Trump. So this is what you're up against here. This is what the Trump campaign is up against with whoever was going to succeed Joe Biden. But I think the Democratic Party as a whole has just breathed an enormous sigh of relief about the fact that this guy is going. And the age issue and the infirmity issue immediately off the table. Not only off the table, it swings around now to the other side of the table to the 78-year-old Donald Trump. I mean, Trump is really in great shape, not physically. I mean, he's built like me. I am worse. But he's hale and he's hardy. You can see that, for God's sake. Guy got his ear shot off, and he was fine. So, I mean, Trump has a ton of adrenaline in him. But still, 78 years old. And so now he's going to have to defend the claims of age and infirmity and senioritis and whatever else they're going to hurl at him. Everything, kitchen sink. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough now on the Trump campaign. And, it strikes me too, guys. You guys want to chime in here. Isn't it something? What was it? The Republican convention was, 3 weeks ago? And in that week, that federal judge drops the Mar-a-Lago case, throws it out. Trump survives an assassination attempt. Then they have a fabulous convention. Boy, it's rolling downhill for him. Biden's still his opponent. It's looking like I'm even reading terms like landslide. And now here we are 2 to 3 weeks later, and it's going to be neck and neck. It's going to be a neck and neck race.
Oh, well, one side punches, the other side's got to punch back,
Yeah. It's always tough. It's funny, Henry. Our side is always told, like Trump is being counseled, I'm sure, nonstop. And, you can't say that. Don't go after the fact that she's a DEI appointee. You know what I mean? Right away, the Republicans wall off half of their attack avenues and say, you can't do that. Whereas, of course, on the other side, it's like, man, oh, man, give me this pile of excrement here. I want to throw it against the wall. I don't care what sticks. But you're right. Right away, we don't. Now, Trump's a great counterpuncher. He is. But I think everybody's a little surprised that just 3 weeks after that convention, he's in the position he's in now where he has to counterpunch. And I think it's a little unnerving now on the Republican side as to what to do, and how to fight back against this machine. Let's face it, it's a machine. That's what the Democratic Party is, along with the media. And it's very, very difficult to overcome. It really is. 855-839-1210 is the number here. I also want to get into, speaking of Kamala, we'll talk about her VP choice. I don't know if that came up much this morning, but it was great to meet Nick Hale again, by the way. I knew Nick a long, long time ago, back at 97.5. Nice to see him again. And, of course, the legendary Tony Bruno. But I think she's going to pick – what do you guys think? I think she's going to pick Josh. Do you guys weigh in on that? I think she's going to pick him, despite I know there is all kinds. Half the Democratic Party is going to tell her you can't do it. But I think she's going to do it.
I mean, you kind of think she will just because Pennsylvania is just one of the most key swing state, if not the most key swing state in this election. Right, you got to win Pennsylvania more than anything. All the other ones, 10, 11 electoral votes. What is this? Pennsylvania have 23?
Yeah.
It seems like the reasonable option.
Pennsylvania has, amongst all swing states, it has the highest number of Jewish voters, 300,000. So she's going to pick him. And you know what it gets me to? And I got to go through all of this stuff. There's just a million things you'd like to talk about. I want to, between today and tomorrow, I got to try and examine this. Is the adjective you hear most when Josh Shapiro's name comes up is the popular governor of Pennsylvania. Why is this guy popular? I mean, can anybody here name me? Please don't say I-95. That sets me off something awful. What has this guy done since he became governor, other than stab Republicans right between the shoulder blades on school choice? What has he done to warrant being popular and being a vice presidential choice?
Well, that's all it is right there. You did I-95. That's all you need to do. You just need one good PR release,
right.
And you're set. It's like, oh, that's the guy that fixed the highway.
Yeah.
It's going to fix our country.
And, of course, you know how he fixed it, right? I mean, it's pretty easy, right? You knew there was unbelievable pressure, the number of cars that go over that roadway every day. All he did was he just waived all the permits. He waives all the permits. If we would do that on every job, all these jobs would be done in 6 weeks. I mean, how many decades now have we seen nothing but barrels on I-95 South between Cotman Avenue and Aramingo Avenue? It just seems like forever, right? and why? Because they don't waive the permits there. You got to have so many minorities. You got to have so many women. You got to have DBE, WBE. You got to make sure, you got this permit. You got to get that permit, this environmental, that thing. No wonder it takes forever. He waives them all, gets that done, stands there, like I always said, like Ed Asner and Lou Grant with the sleeves rolled up and the tie loosened, like Josh, like he was actually helping to build it. And he's parlayed that into now what could be a vice presidential run.
It's amazing what can happen during an election year.
Yeah.
Just get rid of all the red tape and just get it. You look like a big hero. Everybody likes you. But you're right, because if you drive on 95, that's all you see are barrels and things are under construction. Walk through the city of Philadelphia, everything is blocked. You can't get anywhere.
Yeah. Here's from the New York Post, Tuesday, July 23. Al Sharpton contends that Harris's candidacy is a, quote, grassroots movement. I mean, have you ever heard anything more laughable in your life? Her candidacy is a grassroots movement. She was appointed, she was selected by the higher-ups in the Democratic Party to replace Joe Biden after that debate performance. And she is, and she, of course, they were never going to be able to circumvent her. She was going to be the one. They couldn't do it. A black woman. That's the Madonna in Democratic politics. And there were no way they were going to be able to go around her. So she became the one. And don't tell me it was a grassroots movement. But it is stunning to me, guys, how immediately the party coalesces around her. And and I'm going to go through them, believe me, her policies make Joe Biden look like Reagan. And I'm telling you, she's a hard left, progressive California Democrat. And that is the worst, most visceral kind. If that state's policies ever get superimposed on this nation, man, oh man, we're going to slide into the Atlantic Ocean in no time whatsoever. And yet, man, 45, what is it, guys? 47, 45, 46, 44. She leads among independents. It's a sobering notion, guys. Sobering notion. 3 weeks ago, landslide. Now, he's in the fight of his life again against a very, very, in my opinion, poor candidate. 855-839-1210 is the number. Guys, I'm used to my Saturday show here. Are we breaking here? All right. How about we take a break here, and when we get back, I want to take a look at Bob Casey. Just a few minutes to talk about this race. This is a crucial race, too. The Republicans trying to take the Senate back. This is the year in which they should do it. The political map favors them. Here's a race they want to win. Doesn't look good. It's the Dawn Stensland here on Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
Hi, this is Joe Meterchick, PNC Bank Regional President. As a Main Street bank, PNC strives to put our clients and the communities we serve at the center of everything we do. Our local leadership teams provide the knowledge needed to be able to deliver effective strategic solutions tailored for your business. We're proud to be part of the Philadelphia, Delaware, and Southern New Jersey communities. See how we can make a difference for your business at pnc.com/CIB. The PNC Financial Services Group, Inc., all rights reserved.
Hey, fantasy football owners, the road to winning your fantasy football championship starts now. I'm Matt Harmon from Reception Perception. Join me and James Coe as we take a deep dive into the position that's going to make or break your fantasy roster. Wide receivers. We analyze route running, target share, and all the metrics that matter, giving you the insights you need to draft the best wide receivers. As you prep for your draft, let us give you the coverage you need. Follow and listen to Reception Perception on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement. Confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Free speech lives here, on the air, and on the Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, welcome back here to the Dawn Stensland Show on 1210 WPHT. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn. Today and tomorrow, 855-839-1210 is the number. Give me a follow on X, would you please, at Callahan Show 1. You can follow the station at 1210 WPHT. Jimbo, let's get Steve from Langhorne on here. He wants to talk about cousin Josh. Good morning, Steve.
Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
All right.
I love your show. It's so wild that they put you on like a weekday.
It's just a growing phenomenon. It's a growing thing, Steve. No question.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm not normally like a conspiracy kind of guy, but when I look back at the Josh Shapiro thing with the 95, which, like you said, is basically that's what he's got. That's what he's got. That anybody, like any normal person, that's what they know about him. So I swear, it just seems like everything was like they sacrificed some gentleman underneath the bridge and with a truck full of gas, and it was already planned probably weeks ahead of time with the unions to this was probably it's probably such a case of this is planned out. And like you said, I mean, all you need, all these in today's politics with the way the mindset is of most people, it's like all you need is like one thing to stick to the wall that people can remember. I just think that this guy is over the top. There's something that smells really bad about this guy. But that's all I had to say.
All right, Steve. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the call, pal. Appreciate it very much. I don't think that they arranged a killing there and they sacrificed somebody underneath that ramp. Henry, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bit far-fetched. I love the call, though. I'm not one for conspiracies, but they sacrificed that guy.
But, it's funny, though. You talk about conspiracies, and I'm segueing, I know. But, God bless Steve. He's entitled to his opinion. But, this is how, though, conspiracy theories take weight, was what happened with Trump, right, a few weeks ago. We don't get any answers. We get no discernible or reliable answers as to what the hell happened there. It seems a complete 100% systemic failure across the board in terms of security for that rally in Butler, PA. And that's how conspiracy theories start to germinate, because people, nature abhors a vacuum. People fill in the blanks. If you're not going to tell me the truth of what happened, I'll tell you the truth of what happened, right? And that's how you end up with guys getting sacrificed under ramps in Northeast Philadelphia, because you don't get the answers. I do think Josh Shapiro is I don't want to hear popular. I don't understand it, but that's the word given. And I think if you ask the average Pennsylvanian, they'd say, yeah, I think he's doing an all right job. But what does he do? He's passed the fewest bills. He signed the fewest bills of any swing state governor since he got elected. I mentioned, too, that he stabbed those Republicans right in the back. They had a deal. They had a budget deal, the 24 budget deal, was going to include money for school choice. At the last minute, he reneged on it because the unions told him, hey, Josh, we're throwing you right out a window if you go along with that. And he caved.
Not to mention they also took forever getting that through.
Exactly right, Henry. Exactly right. So he's done nothing. But as Henry pointed out, it's Pennsylvania. That could be Herman Munster is governor of Pennsylvania, and he had to have a heck of a shot to be her number 2, because they know that state, this state here, is the linchpin. And speaking of this state, I look at Bob Casey, right? I can't tell you guys how frightening this is, but it's the fact that this is according to NBC. NBC, let me see. I'm sorry, Newsweek. This is a Newsweek piece that came out 5 days ago about this, and it talks about Casey has held a comfortable lead in nearly every public poll of the race released so far in 2024. The most recent poll of the race shows Casey leading Dave McCormick by 10 points. Now that basically, again, polls I know have a margin for error, and I know all about 2016. But I mean, that means this race is over. That's what it means. If there's any validity to that and to those other polls, that means the race is over. And Dave McCormick, he had his chance. He would have, in my opinion, he'd have beaten John Fetterman 2 years ago. But because of Trump, we had Dr. Oz, and his credite, and we lost a Senate race to John Fetterman. I mean, that is hard to, let's not forget that. That needs to be etched in a plate somewhere, a cornerstone. We actually lost a Senate race to John Fetterman, who I know now has become quite seemingly glib and lucid, but at the time he won, he wasn't, and we lost it. And now he's up against Bob Casey. And the thing with Casey, you talk about Teflon. Casey just seems to, he just seems to exist, and no one knows what the hell he does. No one knows what this guy does for a living.
Real G's move in silence.
And
he's damn good at it.
Here is Bob Casey's statement on the Inflation Reduction Act, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to hear this. This is right from his website. With President Biden's signature, the Inflation Reduction Act is officially the law of the land. This bill is going to lower health care and energy costs for American families while creating clean energy manufacturing jobs and tackling the climate crisis. You idiot. And yet, everybody knows that act was a complete disaster, boondoggle, just nothing but burning money. And he signs on to it. He votes with Biden 98% of the time, and he's got a 10-point lead. I don't know, and there's much more I could talk about with him, but you have 98% of the time, and please don't buy that border security nonsense either. I see those ads. He's a big border security guy. For God's sake, I think he goes to Borders bookstore occasionally. That's about as close as Bob Casey what he knows about a border. 855-839-1210 is the number. Up against another break here. When we get back, I'm going to be joined by Joe Pistardi. Joe Pistardi is now with Weather Bell, but you all remember his name. Joe, longtime AccuWeather guy. We're going to talk about windmills, in particular what happened up in Nantucket. We'll do that next on the Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A judge has denied the request to move the trial of former officer Mark Dial out of Philadelphia. Venezuela's president is declaring victory in their election despite officials believing his opponent received more votes. And Simone Biles shakes off a calf injury and dominates during the Olympic gymnastics qualifying round.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
At Gerhardt's Appliances, we're all about summer, so we're on the boardwalk asking you, how can we make yours better?
Oh, okay, bet. Yeah, so I've been blending up my own fruity beach balls and been having major dishes. It's like grade A granola greens.
Okay, well this Bosch dishwasher is on sale for $4.99, and they have the industry's most advanced clean.
Oh, acai. Yeah, that's a great price.
The summer sale is on, only at Gerhardt's, where small business is kind of a big deal.
Wow.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Welcome back, Dawn Stensland Show. Pat Callahan joining you for Dawn. Let's go, Jim. Let's get Steve in Wilmington up here on the Dawn Stensland Show. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, how you doing? Love the show. How's it going?
Fine. Thank you, pal.
Good. Hey, when I was graduating from University of Delaware in the 90s, I had all these friends that were joining the FBI from financial backgrounds. And I said, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're joining the FBI. And I'm like, why does the FBI want you? You're financial guys. They're like, oh, you follow the money. And it's no further from the truth of this assassination attempt. If you look at the Austin Private Wealth Commodities Financial Group, they shorted DJT, which is Donald Trump Media Corporation, 12 million shares the day before the assassination attempt. And their biggest investor is BlackRock Financial into that corporation. Now, I know it's conspiracy theories and all that, but I mean, if you look at the money, people don't lie with their money. And that should tell you all you need to know about all of this, to be honest with you. The SEC came out later. They said they investigated it, and Austin Financial came out and said it was an error. They made a $12 million share error on a put, which is shorting, saying, oh, it's going to go down quickly. And if Donald J. Trump gets killed, well, now Donald J. Trump Media is no longer in existence. The stock falls to zero.
Right. Yeah, I hear you,
Just
Steve.
follow the money. Everything about this smells bad.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I tell you.
And now 2 weeks after the assassination attempt, nobody wants to talk about it.
No.
The FBI director was like, "Oh, we don't really know if it was shrapnel or glass." Are you kidding me?
I know.
We just watched it.
I know. The director of the FBI sits there and says that, and the director of the Social Security. I mean, did she not look like she was like on some sort of drug when she appeared in front of the House subcommittee, that House committee? She'd already been told she was going to be fired or she was going to resign, and she just looked absolutely like zombie-like. And they just said, "You're taking this bullet, you're done, and then we're just going to let the whole thing die."
You mean Secret Service? She said
Secret
Social
Service.
Security.
You're right, Secret Service. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it just all smells bad, and how everyone in the world doesn't see it is just like it's God smacking.
I know, Steve, and thanks very much, pal, for the call. I do appreciate it, and it is true. It is true that they won't follow the money, and then that thing is the money. The overwhelming amount of money is on the side of Kamala Harris right now. It's on the Democratic Party side, and you wonder why. Remember when we were younger, Jim? You remember? I mean, God Almighty, the Republican Party was always the party with all the money. Oh, all those Republican fat cats with all their money, writing their big checks and the dark money. And now it's flipped completely the opposite way. And it seems like the Republicans have to scramble to raise money. Meanwhile, she's got like $300 million. She raised $200 million in one day, and it's just crazy. All right, listen, let's get back to it. I want to bring on this gentleman here, the chief forecaster for Weather Bell Analytics and a longtime chief forecaster for AccuWeather Inc., and that's Joe Bastardi. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. I was chief hurricane and long-range forecaster at AccuWeather for a while. I want to make sure that I get that right. I don't want anyone accusing me of being something more than what I was.
Of course, you were something more, Joe. There's no question about it. But I appreciate the clarification. But you were kind enough, Joe, let's start with this. You were kind enough to send me a piece from CFACT about the East Coast wind turbine fiasco in the making. And why don't you talk about that just a little bit? And this whole concept, because Governor Murphy's at it again in New Jersey. He's accelerated the application process for the next round of giant offshore windmills that will he wants to dot the South Jersey coast, and because he wants to use it as a springboard for a presidential run. Why don't you talk about the effects of that and how you see it playing out as someone who knows climate better than anybody?
Well, we got a little bit of a warning shot here with what happened with Nantucket. They had to close beaches at Nantucket because I have no idea how their wind turbine failed out there, but they had one of them that just fell apart. So all this the turbines were floating up on the beach. And the interesting thing about that is, you do see the big pieces of them, but what about the small, the very tiny shards and things that connect the fiberglass and what they're using to make these things? Which, by the way, if you folks that are into all this, Green Deal stuff, do you know how much fossil fuel you have to use to create one of these wind turbines? It's amazing. But so it's not. If you're going to use that argument, you are creating something that is a potential hazard to a major part of New Jersey's income, which is the resort. Now, I was just down at AC on Thursday to go see the B Street Band over there. I'm a big Springsteen fanatic, believe it or not. But, the beaches are beautiful down there, right?
Yep.
And the Jersey Shore, what is the Jersey Shore going to be, and what is the New Jersey economy going to be if the beaches have to be closed because of a hurricane that went through? And then what happened is, maybe if you get 5-10% of those wind turbines damaged and they start washing up on the beach, what the heck are you going to do?
Right.
And I don't think Murphy and, White House in Rhode Island, you can name them one after another, they must not understand the climatology of hurricanes on the East Coast. It's astounding watching how ignorant they are. Now, okay, so never mind. We're killing whales left and right. Oh, no, that has nothing to do with it. Just turn the other way.
Right.
So where are the true environmentalists on this? The 1821 hurricane, right?
Right.
This thing, the Category 3 all the way to JFK, the reports are that literally every tree east of what is now the Garden State Parkway was flattened with that hurricane.
Right.
Can you imagine a hurricane like that? Or 1944. Remember what happened in the Atlantic City Boardwalk in 44, right? Or even a Carol or a Gloria. Even though we only had wind gusts to 105 or whatever it was in Ocean City, wind gusts 135, 140 miles an hour just offshore with Gloria in 85.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to those wind turbines? In addition, I want you to think about this. We live in an area where storms are natural. The 62, for instance, the 62 nor'easter, 92, 84.
Right.
Yeah. So there's going to be a constant pounding of these things. Not every day, but every year, every other year.
Right.
And, their life expectancy is only about 18 years, as I understand it. I'm looking at this. Why would you put the goose that is laying the golden egg in jeopardy, except because of your phony climate war, which is exactly what it is.
It's the altar of climate change. The windmills, in my opinion, Joe, are the altar, the worship at the altar of climate change. You mentioned, or it's mentioned in the piece that you sent me, and maybe this is lulling people to sleep, that there's been a hurricane drought on the Northeast coast that's lasted 33 years, you said.
Well, that's Long.
Right.
That's Long Island. That's Long Island in New England.
Right.
We got hit by a hurricane. I don't care if it's 20 minutes before. Oh, it's post-tropical.
No, yeah,
Sandy.
I know, yeah.
You
right.
got hit by a hurricane,
Right.
and that's the most damaging hurricane in New Jersey's history.
Right.
It's interesting. And with Sandy, I'd written a piece in 2003 explaining how Philadelphia, Atlantic City, Wilmington were all under the gun for a hurricane. If you had a hurricane like Sandy or even a Category 2 go in at the mouth of the Delaware Bay, it would shove a tidal surge up Delaware Bay that would flood Philadelphia and Wilmington, and also an incredible surge into Atlantic City. Let's remember what happened in Atlantic City and Sandy. The center came over Atlantic City instead of passing to the south, so Atlantic City, did not get the full storm surge from that.
Right.
But the point of the matter is this. If you get a return to what we had in the 1950s, these people will scream it's climate change, when in reality it's only nature doing what nature is supposed to do. And what do you think is going to happen out there? What does any rational person that has lived on the New Jersey Shore think is going to happen when wind turbines are constantly pounded, all right? I'm not saying they all go down. I'm certainly not saying that. What I'm saying is 5-10% washing stuff up on the beach. on Long Island too.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I
you
know.
keep voting the people into office.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You're right about that. Nantucket is a perfect example. Close those beaches in the middle of July. They close those beaches. But let me ask you this broader question, Joe. We're talking with Joe Pistardi here, the chief forecaster, Weather Bell Analytics. Just tell me if you feel comfortable weighing in on this. We're going to build these stupid windmills, right? At, as you mentioned, exorbitant costs and lots of attendant negative environmental benefits, while China belches out a new coal plant every single week. So in the overall scheme of things, are we accomplishing anything, even if we build these things?
We're accomplishing what Barack Obama wanted to do. He felt that 4% of the population should not have 25% of the resources on the planet, and that there has to be some kind of retribution and redistribution of that. That's in his book. If nobody read, see, I always look at what the other guy is doing because I already know what I think. I want to see what he's thinking, right? I do that in climate too. I look at what everybody else is actually saying more so than that. And so it's accomplishing that goal. That's what this is all about. Now, listen, I have nothing against wind and solar being a supplement. But when you know what they just did in Scotland? This is madness. 17 million trees that get rid of 850 million pounds of carbon dioxide. Every tree you plant can take out 50 pounds of carbon dioxide, right? So they cut down 17 million trees to build a wind turbine field up in there. These solar farms, they're solar deserts. They change the environment of the area, and nothing of natural habitat actually grows. Now, I don't have anything against them as a supplement. All right, as a supplement, It's like I take glutamine all the time. That's not my main diet. But to sit there and try to say, okay, you're not going to eat any more food, and you're just going to have to eat this over here, guess what? It's a recipe for disaster. Where is this energy going to come from when AI comes on, Bitcoin, EVs? You think you could just magically plug your car into your wall socket? I mean, 30 million people, 30 million cars doing that. What do you think's going to happen?
I know.
So you don't kill the goose that laid the golden egg. And as far as the environment goes, let me tell you something. I think we're going to see a hurricane try to run the East Coast this year. We have a hurricane season from hell forecasted. We put that out December 7th. And while I think the bulk of the activity is the Gulf in the southeast United States, you already saw Beryl, we may have a threat here next Tuesday, for instance, from a system now in the Atlantic. And it's very, very early. If you look at the history of hurricanes on the eastern seaboard, while we did get bailed back in 1976 early, most of them come later August, September, and even early October. So
it may take Joe. It may take something like that to just demolish that wind field, maybe to put it to bed once and for all.
Pat, it won't demolish it. I'm not talking about demolishing the wind field. I'm talking about, let's say you get 5 or 6 turbines that have damage, and you have the material from them washing up on the beaches. You just can't clean that stuff out.
Right. That's right.
Those shards will go into the sand. I mean, it's a potential nightmare.
All right. Well, listen, Joe Pistardi, I appreciate you taking all this time. I always enjoy our discussions, and I do appreciate it very much. And we're going to keep a close eye as Governor Murphy starts up again. I'd love to have you back and see if we can conscript you into this process. But I do appreciate you taking the time this morning. All right.
Well, you enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got. That's what the weather's made for, enjoyment. God bless you.
All right. The great Joe Pistardi from Weather Bell Analytics. Appreciate Joe. Always appreciate Joe joining me. And it just speaks to, again, and this is what you're talking about. I'll tie this right back to Sister Kamala and a California progressive. She will release, remember, that Inflation Reduction Act was nothing but a climate bill. That's what it was. It was a bill to just grease all of these silly climate efforts like EVs and windmills and assorted other nonsense. They're coming for your dishwasher. They're coming for your washer dryer. This is what that money is being spent on. And she will be a major champion of those kind of efforts. So if this woman gets elected, man, you can just see this kind of nonsense on steroids is what will happen. All right, man, let's line up another break here. When we get back, I want to pivot to this opening ceremony and talk about this and why Christians just sit around and do nothing about it as usual. So we'll discuss that. And I also want to circle back more. I'm going to talk a little more cousin Josh. So you're welcome to join me, 855-839-1210. Would you welcome Josh Shapiro as the number 2 person on the Democratic ticket? Do you think he's earned it? And it'd be interesting to discuss how he would feel about the position of his boss on Israel. 855-839-1210 is the number. We'll do all that next on the Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT.
Hi, it's Nick Kale. The first Wednesday of the month, we shine a spotlight on one outstanding local veteran on our Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. Wednesday, August 7th, we honor Air Force veteran Kathy Christian for her service and contributions to the veteran community. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Schedule an appointment and start your crash-proof education to learn how our proprietary crash-proof retirement system includes inflation fighters that can increase your income up to 35% or more to fight rising costs without depleting your nest egg.
Geraldine Chiadetti, Warrington, Pennsylvania. Crash Proof puts a smile on my face every day. I sleep well, and it even put a bigger smile on my face today when I got my 13%. The interest we receive from Crash Proof is credited interest. I'm not worried about inflation one bit. We get Crash Proof income, but guess what? Your principal still doesn't go down because your interest from your money is making more money. When I was told we made 13%, my husband looked at me and I looked at him and we did the happy dance.
Schedule an appointment to begin your crash-proof retirement education. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
What if I told you your home movies are already past their prime? It's true. The magnetic tape used in VHS and camcorder tapes only lasts between 10 to 20 years, which means your baby's first steps, weddings, and family vacations are fading away as we speak. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops this fading process in its tracks. And by preserving your recordings, they're safe forever. Legacy Box is simply the best way to preserve your past, which is why they've been trusted by over 1 million families. Your memories are meant to be shared, not chewed up by the VCR or worn away with time. For a limited time, you can convert your tapes to digital for just $9 a tape. There's never been a better time to convert your entire collection. That includes film reels and photos too. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to unlock our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/value.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
All right, welcome back here. The Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn. I'm looking at myself, guys. I don't know. These pictures of me here. This camera.
It's not very flattering.
No, it certainly is not a flattering camera. Or perhaps I don't have a flattering physique. It could be the latter. But that's the way of it. That's the way of it.
We'll blame the camera.
Yes, Henry. Thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. 855-839-1210 is the number. If I could do a shameless plug for just a second, gentlemen. My younger brother, Michael, has his third book out. Michael Callahan, It's called The Lost Letters from Martha's Vineyard, and great book. A mystery book, great beach or summer read. I'm urging you all, next time you're in what remains of bookstores or you're shopping online or whatever, please give it a shot. The Lost Letters from Martha's Vineyard, a great summer read. Please do that. Just to mention, and it's funny how the media does. Now, this is something called the Shore News Network, so maybe I don't know anything about them, but even they mention it here about Murphy accelerating the state's offshore wind solicitation schedule. It comes despite recent concerns following a turbine blade incident. Those turbine blades are the length of a football field, and one of them broke off. And I know, like Joe mentioned, all the attendant stuff came with it, started floating around all over the place. They had to close the beaches. Hey, come on with this stuff. Can we knock this stuff off? But boy, these are the people you're putting in charge. And it's not just Kamala Harris. It's just, we keep voting for the same people again and again and again. It always makes me laugh every time I read a poll, how unpopular Congress is. And Congress has a 15% approval rating. They have a 15% approval rating and a 95% reelection rating. So we keep telling everybody how we can't stand Congress and we think they're awful, and we keep reelecting every one of them again and again and again. So you get what you get. The American public maybe could be a little less stupid and a little sharper when they walk into the voting booth here, and let's start throwing some of these bums out. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Don't forget, later on, 11:30, I got Sal Powell coming in. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to talk some Eagles football between now and then, though. I do want to talk about this Olympics opening ceremony. And just listen to this. Listen to the absolute condescension that is dripping off of this response by the Olympic Committee, in which they said, if you saw it, I'm sure everybody has seen it by now, either live or you saw it online somewhere. It was a complete mock-up of the Last Supper, just featuring a bunch of course, got to be, men dressed as women, drag dancers. God forbid you have just women dancing. Now it's got to be men pretending to be women dancing. I guess that's somehow more authentic, and just a complete send-up of it. It's a disgrace, right? And, people were furious about it. And here's the response from the Olympic Committee. There was, quote, "There was never an intention to show disrespect to a religious group. If people have taken any offense, we are, of course, really sorry." How about that? How's that for a response that basically says, we knew we were going to make you furious and we could care less, and you can kiss our respective buttocks. And yet, I'm just telling you, how many of you stopped watching the Olympics as a result of it? How many of you said, I'm not going to watch 5 seconds of this because of what they just did? I'll bet you a handful at most. We just go on watching it, and we just take it. That's what Christians do. That's what we're good at. We take it. And we don't respond. We don't get angry. We don't boycott. We don't call. We don't write. We don't call NBC like I did and say, I'm not going to watch 5 seconds of that. We should get a hold of their sponsors. One sponsor did drop out, a telecom company called C Spire. They pulled their ads. Good for them. But nobody else did, I don't think.
Just turning the other cheek.
Yeah, that's why you go, Henry. There you go. We're turning the other cheek like we've been told. I don't know if that's what he meant. I don't know if that's what he meant or not. Remember, they're also in Revelations, do not mock me. Is in there too, so I don't know, but I just think it's, again, I imagine if they think they're so edgy and they're so brave, well, then why don't you? Well, how about doing a little Muhammad skit? Let's see a little Muhammad skit there with 72 virgins. Let's see what happens to you. All right, you'll be dead before you get to your car, but none of that happens. Not going to see any of that for certain.
I just want one of these opening ceremonies to live up to like Beijing in 2008.
Yeah.
I just want it to be cool. Like
Yeah.
you can send all the messages you want.
Yeah.
Just make it cool.
How about just start the games? Could do that,
Yeah.
Could just light the torch and say, okay, first event, you guys get the hell on the track and get going. We could do that, but no, we got to have this pomp, circumstance, and put our stamp on it. And Paris, we accept and we embrace diversity and blah, blah, blah. Just get started. But it just seems like, we're only 3 billion, so it's not like we have a plurality here. Not like we have any density that we can make things happen, but we don't. That's it. All right, listen, hour number 2 coming up here at the Dawn Stensland Show. I want to circle back here, and I want to read you off who is Kamala Harris. I'm going to tell you who she is. We're going to do that. And I also want to hear from you, too, about Cousin Josh. I think he's going to be the nominee. I do. And for vice president, I want to know what you think. Do you think he earned it? You think he deserves it? You think he's been a good governor? If so, please tell me why. 855-839-1210 is the number. We'll be back for hour 2 of the Dawn Stensland Show here on 1210 WPHT.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116.
Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Inflation, recession, interest rates, the Fed. How do you make sense of it all? Join Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
You can still look great in that bathing suit this summer since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. Within a week of starting, you will notice pounds coming off and you'll feel good too since you are doing it the natural way, quickly and safely. You can still get slimmer this summer and without any shots. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com to lose the weight for good.
Don't miss Borgata's $1.5 million Summer Showdown. Now through August 31st, 1,500 winners will earn a share of $1.5 million. Plus, 2 lucky players will win a 2024 Ford Bronco or Jeep Rubicon. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday, including 2 grand prize drawings on July 27th and August 31st. The $1.5 million Summer Showdown, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Players must be present to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, welcome back here to the Dawn Stensland Show. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn on this sultry summer Monday, the 29th of July. Summer is flying by, isn't it? And it is. It's already August. The dog days of August are virtually upon us, and but things, of course, are heating up on both the state and the national stage of presidential election year. You got 3 months. 3 months until this country could head off a precipice, for God's sake. I'm going to spend some time tomorrow expounding upon, those of you who listen to my Saturday show know that I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump. I mean, I admire the guy. I think he's clearly a fighter. He's one of the great fighters. He's resilient. No one has put up with what he has put up with in the last 9 years. So he is to be applauded for that. And I do think he has the best interests of the country in mind. I really do. But if you ever want to, you hear the term imperfect vehicle, well, that's him. And I just can't help but just note that had we had another candidate there right now, we'd be 10, 15 points ahead. I think the race would be, I guess no race is ever truly over, but I think this one would be comfortably in the bag. But we chose Trump, and I just think a lot of the pro-Kamala Harris sentiment that you're seeing, a plurality of it is anti-Trump. And it's something that we could have eliminated had we nominated somebody else, but this wasn't going to happen. And this is the guy we got. And when the Democrats see that DJT initial, man, they spring into overdrive. They go berserk on that. So 855-839-1210 is the number. GovTrack, which is a nonpartisan platform, as if there's any such thing anymore, rated Kamala Harris as the most liberal U.S. senator in 2019. The most liberal. Now, that is saying something, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there are some candidates in that U.S. Senate on the Democratic side for most liberal. And if she's got all them beat, well, then she is something else. This is a woman, of course, they're denying she was named border czar. I mean, can you imagine that? They're actually denying. As a matter of fact, that what I just told you about GovTrack, they scrubbed that. They scrubbed it from the website, naming her the most liberal senator of 2019. Can't find that anymore. Now they're denying she was named border czar. She was named border czar. It's on tape. It's on tape. Joe Biden turning to her and saying, "You are my border czar." Other than that, it's kind of nebulous. But no one. She never said that. She was never appointed that. Never appointed that. Sure, she was, and she has no intention of closing that border. None. She has no intention of doing so. She wants to end private health care. She's on tape saying that. She wants to end fracking. She wants to end offshore oil drilling. She wants to fund healthcare, free healthcare for illegals, which, of course, she would never call them illegals. And, of course, she's a big proponent of the Green New Deal, and of course, which was rebirthed as the Inflation Reduction Act. So, I mean, this is what you're getting. This is what you're getting. If you're sitting there on the fence saying, geez, I don't like Trump, and, and this woman's younger, she seems vibrant, and it's the cool, hip thing to do right now, and, I can drink White Claw and vote for Kamala Harris, and everybody will like me. I mean, come on now. This is what you're going to get. So let's think it over. 855-839-1210 is the number. Let's go, Jim, to Mario in Philadelphia wants to weigh in on the esteemed senator from Pennsylvania, Bob Casey. Mario, good morning.
Good morning to you. I love the ads from Bob Casey. Help Bob Casey stop the fentanyl at the border. Help him stop the overflow of migrants. Let me ask you, Philadelphia, out there, for those of you that have a brain bigger than a fava bean, how dumb do they think you are? They've been doing this to you for 75 years. How dumb do they think you are? These people are the perpetrators. They have kept you in that little ranch of theirs to open up the chutes on voting day so you can go right to the polls, then back to your miserable ranch, which I travel through every day. You don't need to live like that. Change something.
There you go, Mario. Well, I certainly think you're You phrased it a little tough, but I appreciate it very much. But those ads, I mentioned them an hour ago. Those ads about Bob Casey and help him stay tough on the border. Are you kidding me? But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
it's the same thing with this guy that they're proposing as the VP, Mark Kelly from Arizona. Okay, he's an astronaut. End of story.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything. He's a yes man. That's all. You look at his record, he's a yes man, just like the rest of them.
No question
Whatever the Democratic Party proposes, they all fall in line. They're in, what's that called? Goose steps?
Yeah.
That's who they are.
It's an amazing thing, Mario. Man, oh, man, does that party close ranks. Then no one ever breaks ranks when they're told how to vote. Mark Kelly, a classic example, a guy who was much more effective off the earth than on it. And yet he's being named. If it's not going to be, by the way, Mario, thanks very much for the call. If it's not going to be Cousin Josh, it's going to be this guy, Mark Kelly, because Arizona's another swing state, and Kelly will have a great deal of positive coverage as a moderate Democrat and and someone who can bring weight to the ticket, So, of course, you get the white guy in there, number 2 guy. But, it looks like I still say, here's something from, this is from Newsweek, and this is only from a day ago. Josh Shapiro's VP odds skyrocket. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro has emerged as a leading contender to be Vice President Kamala Harris' running mate in the 2024 presidential election, with his odds dramatically increasing in recent days. According to Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market for world events. How about that? Shapiro's chances have surged to 42% as of Sunday, reportedly doubling over the weekend. So something must have, some communication must have leaked over the weekend that she's seriously considering this guy. I know there's a lot of pull on him, against him, because he's Jewish, right? And the Democratic Party, and this is what amazes me, I'm going to talk about this in the next segment, the Democratic Party cannot stand Jewish people. I mean, the unofficial plank of the Democratic Party is that Jews are evil. And yet, Jewish people, they talk about, like, to use Mario's, well, I'm not going to use goose stepping. I mean, but it's a lockstep. The Jewish people just lockstep seemingly vote Democrat. And it just, I don't understand it. And yet, they'll be there. And now they got a chance. Josh Shapiro, a Jewish guy, be vice president. I mean, it is not something that the country has experienced much of. And, hey, groundbreaking, good for him. But still, there's a lot of Democrats who are not going to be comfortable with that selection, and for all the wrong reasons, because they're anti-Semitic. It's an anti-Semitic party. And how you continue to somehow whitewash that, and how you continue to say to yourself, no, that's not going to affect how I vote. I don't get it. I don't know. But clearly that's what they are. That's clearly what they are. And Shapiro looks like I said, he looks like he's going to be it. It's either going to be him, it's going to be Mark Kelly, the guy from Arizona. They're talking about this guy, Tim Walz from Minnesota. Give me a break. Not a chance. But it's going to be one of those 2 guys, I think. And I don't know when she's going to do it, whether the Democratic convention is until the end of August. I imagine she will not wait that long. She's going to name him in advance. But how this woman even became the nominee. I mean, this is a party that does nothing but drill you nonstop with this talk of democracy. We've got to save democracy. Democracy must be saved against the evil dictator, Donald Trump. He's going to be dictator from day one. He's going to assassinate his political opponents. Oh, for God's sake. Right? And yet, everything they do is undemocratic, right? I mean, they basically forbade anybody from running against Joe Biden in the primaries. Their intent was, because Joe is nothing but an empty suit, and everybody knew it, and Barack Obama and Susan Rice and all those other old Obamaites were running the country. And remember, fundamentally transforming America. That's what he said he was going to do. We put him in there for 8 years, so we all bought off on it. They were still running the country. Tell me Joe Biden all of a sudden became this absolute hardcore leftist. Biden for 50 years, he didn't. He was just a go along, get along. He was a Bob Casey. So and now all of a sudden, they said, "That's it, Joe. We're done with you, Joe. You've outlived your usefulness after June 27th. You're out of here. Get the hell out of the way." And nothing democratic about it. All you 14 million people that voted for Joe in the primaries, sorry, take the rest of the day off. He's done. And anybody who wants to maybe have an open convention and we'll let everybody run for the nomination and we'll do it the old-fashioned way. No, sorry, that ain't happening either. It's going to be Kamala. The rest of you just shut up, get in line, and we'll do something for you down the road. That's the way this party operates. This party does not brook any dissension whatsoever, but they are, of course, saving a democracy. All right, Jimbo, let's go to Phil in Wilmington. Hey, Phil, welcome to the Dawn Stensland Show.
And good morning to you.
All right, Phil.
Well, I think being Jewish, I'm really offended at Shapiro joining up with an anti-Semitic and, for that matter, anti-American and pro-Palestinian squad lover, as their party is turned into and Kamala Harris is.
No question. You're right, Phil. It's a good way to put it. Absolutely. How about what she did to Netanyahu? She wouldn't sit there for his speech. And then she meets with him afterwards and she starts lecturing him. I will not be silenced. Can you imagine saying that to a leader like him?
Well, and the worst part is she chose to go to a black sorority event that wasn't mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So, it just disgusts me.
I know.
And the fact that, my honest opinion, I think this was a setup from 3.5 years ago that they knew how they were going to operate their party and through Biden. Because for her to say, I had no idea how bad off Joe was, in a few interviews, she admitted it.
I know. No idea how bad Joe was. All you had to do was say, hi, Joe. Other than that, you didn't. You had to do a lot of detective work. You're certainly right, Phil. You're certainly right.
And I envision his response to that question that you just posed. Who are you?
Yeah, I imagine you're right. Phil, thanks very much for the call. I appreciate that. How about we squeeze in Ted? How about we squeeze in Ted from Swarthmore? Ted, welcome to the Dawn Stensland Show, Ted.
No, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I just wanted to remind the Jewish population that may be listening to your radio station how many presidents prior to Donald J. Trump promised them that we would put the embassy in the capital of Jerusalem. And he said it. He said it. They all gave lip service, every one of them.
You're right.
And he was a man of actions and did it. So, you know what? Here's to the Jewish people. Wake up. You're just as big a sucker as the rest of the Democrats.
How about that, Ted? Thanks very much, pal. Appreciate that call. And to augment Ted's rather strident point there, he also was the co-author of the Abraham Accords. I mean, he reached out. He was cutting deals. He was getting things done over there for the benefit of Israel. And yet it just doesn't seem to matter. It's amazing. I'm going to hit you with a couple of statistics on this when we get back here. We'll talk further about the Democratic Party's embrace of Kamala Harris and two specific vital market segments for the Democratic Party and how they stay so loyal to this party, and it just flies in the face of common sense. It's all here on the Dawn Stensland Show here. We'll be right back on 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with a big update on our huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. We had to move the date to Thursday, September 12th. We'll talk the election, all things Trump, 2 days after the next scheduled presidential debate. Think about that. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr., now September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. All the ticket details and everything else at 1210WPHT.com. Be there September 12th.
Hey, it's Greg with Callahan Company. The best place to bet the games this summer is FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton. Don't forget those badminton fans. There's a ton of them out there. And soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. You can bet same-game parlays. There's all kinds of prop bets. It's all right there at FanDuel.com. So don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up. FanDuel.com/Greg to start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back here, the Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn. Don't forget to follow me on X. All right, at Callahan Show 1. I'd appreciate that very much. Here as we rumble through the rest of this 2-hour stint. At the bottom of this hour, in just about 11 minutes or so, Sal Palantonio is going to join me. We're going to talk about some Eagles football, Eagles training camp. Sal has a number of observations regarding the Eagles' new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who came over here from, he's been all over the league. Been all over the place. The L.A. Chargers, Dallas Cowboys. And so we'll see what Sal has to say about what the Eagles look like. A lot of new stuff in Philadelphia with the Birds this year. So a big year for Nick Sirianni. So we'll talk to Sal about that. For the rest of this, though, I'm talking about two voting segments of the Democratic Party. By the way, 855-839-1210. You want to weigh in here on Cousin Josh. And, has he earned a vice presidential shot? And as was pointed out just a few minutes ago, I mean, does he have any reservations about it? Working for someone who's clearly, I don't want to say Kamala Harris is anti-Semitic. I don't know that. But she certainly embraces the notion that she's no fan of Israel. I mean, she is not. And the Democratic Party's unofficial position is they're not fans of Israel. And yet, somehow, Jewish people still rock solid vote Democratic. A Pew Research poll, April of 2024, showed that the Jewish people vote Democrat or prefer voting Democrat 69% versus 24% Republican. 69 to 24. And as was just pointed out, this is against a president who moved the capital, the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which was long a cherished idea of Jewish nationalists. and he was also the author of those fledgling Abraham Accords, which were promoting trade and recognition between Israel and certain of the Arab nations. And yet it just doesn't matter. They just, all the protests, all the visceral reaction to Netanyahu when he was in here last week, some of the things they were screaming at him as he left his hotel, the Watergate Hotel, on his way to a speech in front of the joint session of Congress, which 20 or so Democrats boycotted, including Kamala Harris. And yet it doesn't matter. The Jewish people are going to vote Democrat, and that's it. And the second market segment, and I just have to bring it up, is I saw there was a segment on CNN, and they were concerned about the fact that Kamala Harris was only enjoying a 76 to 21% edge among black voters. Only 76 to 21. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why do black Americans consistently, overwhelmingly, unilaterally vote Democrat, even when, and sometimes it is clearly against their best interest? Joe Biden was nothing in the way of pro-black for most of his Senate career. Didn't matter. Still got overwhelming, over 90% black support in the 2020 election. And they just go right down the line Democrat, and I guess they're gonna do it again. I don't know. I mean, does anything about Kamala Harris strike you as being like strongly pro-black? I don't know, but she's a California progressive. She grew up in a middle-class home. Her father was a professor at Stanford. She never wanted for anything. She has no idea what the black experience is, but it doesn't matter, right? And 76 to 21. I don't get it. I mean, she was a prosecutor. She was she was an Oakland prosecutor, and then she was California Attorney General. She's well known for sending a disproportionate number of black men to jail for things like marijuana possession or marijuana dealing. And it just seems to get swept away, even though now, of course, they're trying to somehow position Kamala as being tough on crime. Oh, my God. I don't know how you could even use the term tough on crime and Democrat in the same sentence. Look what we're stuck with. But people rant and rave about Larry Krasner in this city. Well, he got 70% of the vote when he ran for re-election. So what are you complaining about? You stuck him in there. Now you're complaining about him? Did you vote against him? Most people didn't even bother. Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same thing here with this city. Does the city have any Republican city councilman anymore? I don't even know if we do. But it's still, it doesn't matter. Jewish people and blacks, they just are a sturdy and reliable linchpin for the Democratic Party. And those constituencies, those built-in constituencies are a huge, huge help to the Democratic Party because they don't really have to work to get them. Whereas on the Republican side, the Trump campaign is working to try and to appeal to Jewish Americans, particularly in the state of Pennsylvania. But, I mean, if she names Josh, it's going to be a hard sell. It's going to be a tough, tough, tough sell. And Pennsylvania is a state that Trump has to have. That's another reason why I'm so concerned about McCormick performing so badly. Trump appears to be ahead in most polls. He's ahead a couple points in Pennsylvania. Why then is McCormick lagging so badly? It's a shame. I think he's a good candidate, but Pennsylvania very, very much in play. And if she names Joshi her running mate, that could tip the scales. So. We're going to have to sweat this out, certainly, as to whether or not this is going to work, whether it's going to work in Pennsylvania. It's a state that Trump has to have. He's got to get it. I imagine he'll be spending a lot more time here. He might think he spent enough in Butler County, but I think he'll be spending more time here in Pennsylvania for sure. But Josh, I mean, it is what he's up against. I mean, here's an example. Despite his rising stock, this is the same Newsweek piece. Despite his rising stock in the race, Shearer's potential nomination has not been without controversy. A coalition of public education advocacy organizations recently urged Harris not to select Shapiro, citing his support for private school vouchers. See, now he's going to be up against them unions, too. These unions, they're no fans of him whatsoever. They're no fans of anybody who propagates school vouchers. And and then, of course, the other thing is the Jewish drag. Let's face it, there's many who are uncomfortable with him being on the ticket for that very reason. But very interesting. Interesting to see how that plays out. All right, listen, we get back here on the Dawn Stensland Show. We're going to be joined by Sal Palantonio. Sal, all of you know him. Sal's got one of those Jell-O names, Sal Pal. Everybody knows it. A long time national correspondent for ESPN. And obviously, obvious Philadelphia roots with Sal. And we're going to talk to Sal about what's going on at Eagles training camp. Let's face it, the Phillies have been dominating the news, but the Eagles are starting up, pro football starting up, and it is a big season for Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. Let's get an early look at what's going on there. We'll do that next here on the Dawn Stensland Show on 1210 WPHT.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The forecast will be a bit unsettled over the next few days. Today, partly sunny, a little more humid. Scattered showers possible, high 88. Tonight, a shower, otherwise partly cloudy, low 72. And for Tuesday, partly sunny and humid with a shower or storm possible with a high 86.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Why are prices spiking in Pennsylvania? It's simple. It's inflation. And Senator Bob Casey's reckless spending caused the problem to grow. Casey joined Washington liberals in voting for trillions in reckless spending. All of Senator Casey's spending caused inflation to get out of control until disaster. Everything is too expensive, from gas to groceries. And Senator Casey helped create this mess. Worse, Casey voted to allow COVID relief checks for illegal immigrants and convicted criminals, even murderers. Senator Casey voted to allow more money for illegals, leaving less for us. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back here, the Dawn Stensland Show, 1210 WPHT. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn, and I am always pleased and honored to have this gentleman on, the longtime national correspondent for ESPN, and the very well-known Sal Paolantonio. Good morning, Sal. How you doing?
Pat, thanks for having me on the show. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining me, Sal. And I know that you have already spending some time out at Eagles training camp, and I just wanted to elicit from you some observations as to, a lot of new faces out there and in very significant positions, including the two coordinator positions. And maybe you can start off by giving me some early impressions on the Eagles' new offensive coordinator.
Well, I think Kellen Moore has already instituted a lot of change. Some of it dramatic, some of it subtle, but I think all of it is very important as a new offensive coordinator. I would start with this. I think they're going to, one, challenge defenses in ways that they didn't challenge defenses last year. What do I mean by that? I think pre-snap, you'll see a lot of pre-snap motion, much more than you saw last year. I think that's important. Last year, the Eagles were last in the league in pre-snap motion at 26%. The league average, Pat, was 51%. Average was 51%, and the Eagles were at 26% last in the league. They will give defenses a lot more to think about pre-snap. And then post-snap, it's pretty obvious early on that Kellen Moore has given Jalen Hurts some answers to problems that defenses will present post-snap. A lot of quick hits in the flat and on slants to the tight end and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. Also formation variation to create favorable matchups using Saquon Barkley split out wide to create some spacing for Jalen Hurts to run with. And then this is sort of an underrated aspect of what he's doing. His pass protection is more horizontal than vertical. And that will spread defenses out and give Jalen Hurts more room to maneuver as a runner, but also give him better passing lanes. So I'm very impressed with Kellen Moore and what he's done thus far.
Sal, you were kind enough to send me a transcript of an interview, a media session that Kellen Moore had. And one of the questions that was asked of him was, what difference has he seen, the biggest difference you've seen in Jalen Hurts' game? And his answer, one of his comments was, taking command of the huddle, the operation. Do you think maybe Hurts was a little unsure of what was going on in terms of the game plan last year? And do you think that's an area that Hurts can really improve on?
Well, I think that certainly he's got more confidence and more command in the huddle because Kellen Moore has given more answers to the task in advance. That was the point that I was just trying to make. I think, Pat, he's given them some answers to the questions that defenses will pose, both pre-snap and post-snap.
Right.
And listen, it's a work in progress. When Kellen Moore made those comments, it was only after 2 days of training camp. Right. That was it.
Right.
Saturday was day 3. He made those comments before Saturday's training camp session. So they have another 2 weeks of camp, 3 preseason games, and then a full practice and full install for the game in Brazil against the Packers, and that's going to be an interesting game. Even if the game were in Green Bay or Philadelphia, it'd be interesting. But the fact that it's in Sao Paulo is tremendously challenging for both teams.
Right. You mentioned too, Sal, in your observations, more tempo needed on the offensive side of the ball, and that obviously is a function, right, of, well, not just the success of the plays, but also Hurts has to make sure that they can sustain that kind of tempo. What role do you see Saquon playing in that? I mean, do you think they're going to feed this guy the ball, or do you think you're going to see more Jalen Hurts design runs?
I think they'll definitely be featuring number 26. Mm-hmm. In my view, Pat, he's the number one addition of any team in this offseason because of what he brings both in the running game and the passing game. his ability to not only run the football but to be a decoy so Jalen Hurts can run the football, I think will be a dynamic combo for the Philadelphia Eagles. No question about it.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Barkley has something to prove, but, he's kind of flying against the tide here. The running back position has been, so diminished in the eyes of, capologists and general managers. There just isn't a big market, a free agent market for running backs. Were you surprised when the Eagles went out and grabbed Saquon?
Shocked. They've never done that before in the Howie Roseman era. Invested in a running back and invested in a running back in free agency. So it's definitely you're absolutely right, Pat. It's an outlier situation, not only for the Eagles, but also for the league, that he would change teams within the division. And it is weird to see him because I've interviewed him and seen him and covered him for so many years and studied his game in a New York Giant blue uniform. And now to see him in green running around, it's it's a shock. There's only 96 miles between Lincoln Financial Field and MetLife Stadium, but it might as well be 96 light years away. I mean, it's a total shock to the system culturally, and he'll be used differently for sure, but he'll also have the benefit of a veteran and good offensive line.
All right, well, that's a good segue. Talking with Sal Palantonio here, the national correspondent from ESPN, a longtime fixture in the sports scene here in Philadelphia. Sal, the Eagles know Jason Kelce. He's busy now promoting his own beer. And all right, and many other things, of course.
Many other things. He just signed. Other things, Pat.
Didn't he sign? I think he signed on with the mothership, didn't he? Jason Kelce, is he going to be?
Pat, you are correct. He is going to be on ESPN. The world, that channel that's the worldwide leader in sports. That one.
That one. That is correct.
Yeah, the one
Jason.
that I've been on for 30 years. We got Jason Kelce in the house, and he's going to be on Monday Night Countdown.
Mm-hmm.
From Bristol, Connecticut for the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. How about that? He makes his debut on Thursday. I wonder, here's the thing. I wonder how long it will take the producers at ESPN to show Jason Kelce in that French beret at the Paris Olympics that has gone viral in the last couple of days.
Man.
I want to see him wear that on the set. That'll be great. But, on the serious side of it, there's been so much made of it. Jalen Hurts and his relationship to Nick Sirianni. The most important relationship that Jalen Hurts has to develop right now is with Cam Jurgens, his new center.
Right.
Because for so long, Jason Kelce had almost total autonomy over the pass protection, setting the protection pre-snap and then barking out the orders post-snap. And Jalen Hurts has already talked about the fact that he is looking forward to setting the protection with Cam Jurgens in conjunction with Jeff Stoutland, Stoutland University, the number one offensive line coach in the National Football League. And, be careful what you wish for because, man, oh, man, Kelce was great at it. And now you add another thing to Jalen Hurts' plate, which goes back to the first thing that I said to you, and I think I can't state this enough. What Kellen Moore has done in terms of giving Jalen Hurts the answers to the test pre-snap and then post-snap has really been a confidence booster for Jalen Hurts. And you can see it with the way he's running the offense, the way he's running the football, and the way he's passing the football. But it'll really be tested against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are using a different front. They have a different defensive coordinator. Week 1 will be a big test for pass protection for Jalen Hurts, Cam Jurgens, and Jeff Stoutland. So to me, that's the number one relationship he's got to have.
Absolutely. I certainly agree with that. That is number one. And I don't know how big it's going to be. We won't know until the bullets start firing as to how smooth the transition that's going to be from Kelce to Jurgens. But you mentioned, Sal, even in your notes to me, that they've got to cut down on these turnovers. A major factor in the Eagles' 1-6 finish last year was the number of turnovers. They had 20 last season, and it really killed them at the end of the season. And the way you're seeing now, the way Moore and Hurts are putting together this passing game, you think that there's obviously the major concentration will be on cutting down those turnovers, right?
hard to do, Pat.
Yeah.
And I sound like a broken record. I understand that. But once more with feeling, here it comes. The number one indicator of wins and losses in the National Football League year in and year out is turnovers, A, and 1A, turnovers by the quarterback. So 2 years ago, the Eagles go to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts only had 8 turnovers. Last year, he had 20. And he was fourth in the league among quarterbacks in the turnover category, 20 turnovers. Now, if you're going to have a quick strike, short passing game, and the NFL right now is all about 2 things on defense. 1, blitz. 2, play a 2-deep safety cover umbrella zone.
Right.
Make the offense earn every yard. Keep everything in front of you and reduce the number of explosive plays. When you do that, you force the offense to have 8-play drives, 9-play drives, 11-play drives, God forbid, 12-play drives. Now, when you have drives that are that many plays, you increase the possibility of turnovers, right?
Yep.
So you have to be accurate and decisive, and once in a while, you got to hit the big bomb.
Yeah, that's right. And he's proven he could do it. I mean, he proved it 2 years ago. This guy can play. There's no doubt about it. Jalen Hurts can play. How much of a chip do you think the Eagles are going to have on their shoulder going into this year, Sal? I mean, obviously they didn't have finished well at all last year. Do you see a lot of pressure on Nick Sirianni, his 3rd year now? And I think a lot is expected of the Eagles, but I don't think Sal is a very strong division. I'm still not sold. I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. They're not having a good offseason. I think Washington is still down the road. The Giants, if anything, they lost Saquon. They're still coming back with Daniel Jones. You see a lot of pressure on the Eagles to just get through the season like the Phillies and get to January?
Well, they have a pretty tough schedule. And, they can win 11 or 12 games with the talent that they have on offense. The proof is going to be in what Vic Fangio is going to do with the defense. Is the command and control and communication fixed in the secondary? Do they have the talent in the secondary? Is Quinyon Mitchell, their first-round pick out of Toledo, somebody who can start at right cornerback opposite Darius Slay? And can he hold his own? It's a long way from Toledo to the National Football League.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's an important thing. And right now he's getting a lot of competition from the veteran Isaiah Rodgers. And Rodgers has certainly been up to the task. So do they have enough bodies in the secondary so that Fangio can do what he wants in terms of the 2-deep safety umbrella? And then do they have the pass rush? That's the key.
Right.
Because you have to go hand in hand. Do they have the pass rush? Do they have the pass rush, Pat, in the 4th quarter? We're in a 1-score league, Pat. I've said this a million times to you. Last year, they had the highest percentage of games in the National Football League in its history end within 1 score, within 8 points. Highest percentage of games were 1-score games last year in the history of the league.
Yeah.
1-score games means you win or lose games in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
You win or lose games in the 4th quarter 2 ways: turnovers by the quarterback and pass rush in the 4th quarter. So that's going to be the key to me. This Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, and that group, do they have enough to get after the quarterback in the 4th quarter? That's going to be key.
And no Hassan Reddick. Reddick now with the Jets. I thought he had a good career in Philadelphia, but it just seemed like something wasn't right there. And off he goes to the New York Jets. Bryce Huff now stepping in. And I think you're right. That pass rush is absolutely a key for the Eagles. But anyway, Sally, you're doing this for 30 seasons. You sound just as pumped up for season 31 as you did probably for season 1, I guess, huh? You're ready to go, huh?
Well, Pat, training camp always gets you juiced up. I love being around the crowd. We had Military Appreciation Day on Saturday. The Eagles do it better than any other team in the league, in my view. And it was a wonderful day on Saturday. And there is a lot of optimism, but there's definitely a lot of uncertainty. 17 teams changed defensive coordinators in the NFL. All 4 NFC East teams changed defensive coordinators. 16 teams changed offensive coordinators, including the Philadelphia Eagles. When you have that kind of turnover and upheaval at the 2 most important coaching positions, you mentioned the pressure on Nick Sirianni. To me, when you see those numbers, you realize how much pressure there are on these coordinators to get it right and how they are disposable in the National Football League.
That's certainly right. Certainly right.
Yeah, that's certainly right. So, there's a lot of upheaval and uncertainty. The Eagles are in that category. And you're right. I think the NFC East is certainly uncertain. There's one team that I want people to focus on. I'm saying this now in late July, and maybe when I revisit you on the radio or later on your show this week in pro football during the season, we'll come back to it. But the Washington Commanders on offense with Cliff Kingsbury will be a problem.
All right.
Jaden Daniels can run.
Right.
He can throw the ball. They have, in my view, some of the best skill players on offense. They've got Austin Eckler. They brought him over from the Chargers. Terry McLaurin, Johan Dotson, and then that third-round pick, Luke McCaffrey, 6'2", great hands, good speed, will be in the slot. He's got great bloodlines with his dad and his brother. He's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So that offense, and I didn't mention Zach Ertz. That offense is going to be very, very difficult to handle,
All right.
especially when the Eagles face them middle of the season.
And the Eagles always have trouble with Washington. Let's face it, they always do. It's a funny thing. But, Sal, listen, I appreciate you very much taking all this time. I always keep you too late, but I appreciate you doing that. You're always a font of information. I look very much forward to talking to you all season long. And everybody enjoys Sal's work on ESPN, especially the NFL Matchup Show, the longest-running show out there in sports television. So, Sal, thanks very much for joining me. All right. Is that it? I lost Sal? All right. Very good. Thanks very much, Sal, for joining me. Sal Pantalone, always one of the greats. And when we get back, we'll wrap up the Dawn Stensland Show here for July 29th on 1210 WPHT.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
The biggest question, which makes me wonder if, in fact, it was a coordinated inside job, as Chompy Blobber, or whatever his name says.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
Sitting in his basement, typing mean tweets. Shut up. As you guys know, I get a lot of emails and tweets, text messages from people saying, are there people controlling your narrative? Nobody controls our narrative here. Let me say that at 7:50 in the morning on Morning Drive when I know tons of people are tuning in. Nobody will ever control the narrative on this radio station except for the people that have talk shows here. Yeah. The end.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. We all love summer, right? But the beach isn't just for summer. In fact, the beach, and in particular the Cape May beach, is just beautiful in the fall. If you haven't been to Cape May in the fall, you're missing out, and you should book your stay at the Grand Hotel of Cape May for a September to remember. The Grand offers special midweek packages so you can enjoy the beach without breaking the bank. Stay 2 nights and save 10%. Stay 3 nights, get 10% off and $55 a night in resort credits. Stay 5 nights, you're going to get 10% off and $65 a night in resort credits, and they can be used at Hemingway's for food and drink, the gift shop, and so much more. The Grand offers guest rooms, suites, and townhomes equipped with a kitchenette, and they have 2 huge heated pools, 1 outdoor and 1 indoor. I'm telling you, the Grand is my happy place, and you will not be disappointed. Book directly with them for the best rates. Book your stay today at 800-257-8550 or visit them online at grandhotelcapemay.com. And our next live show is Friday, September 6th. So book your stay today, grandhotelcapemay.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
At some point today, everybody will use a bathroom. But if you're a contractor, there's an excellent reason why right now you could use a lot of bathrooms. It's the Great Bathroom Break at Colonial Marble and Granite, where every vanity you buy comes with a free stone countertop and free sink. Classic, traditional, contemporary, in stock for pickup or ready to ship. Choose a color and style, get a surface and sink, and you're good to go. So get going. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details on their vanity special.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
Joel Embiid is excited. The process marches on.
Oh, George, welcome to Philadelphia.
Morris, hallelujah.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, PA, Saturday, September 28th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
The Sixers will prevail.
Oh, baby! joeconklin.com.
When their world isn't safe, they need someone to notice, to wonder and worry, to be their voice. If you suspect child abuse in any way, report it. You can be their hero. Your call can change their world.
Report suspected abuse by calling 1-800-932-0313 or visit keepkidssafe.pa.gov for more information. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Visit njdiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Free speech lives here. With Don Giordano weekdays noon till 3. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, welcome back here to the Dawn Stensland Show. Pat Callahan filling in for Dawn for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, going to be joined by Andy Riley. Andy's, we're going to talk some Delco and PA politics. I want to talk to Andy about what's going on. That McCormick Casey race, very distressing. And then Guy Shiraki, Pennsylvania Heritage Foundation. Great online follow. Will be joining me in the second hour. Tomorrow, we'll talk some politics, including state and federal politics. We'll do that. And then also tomorrow, I'm going to run the risk of the Trump camp out there because I do want to flesh out this issue of, how much of a tough race did we bite off this year by nominating Donald Trump. I was a big Ron DeSantis fan. I thought DeSantis was a candidate out of just central casting. He was the candidate. Military guy, family, wife, 2 kids, photogenic, strong governor of the fastest growing state in the union. Sorry, Ron, can't use you, pal. So I don't know, but we have an uphill fight right now. The Republican Party does. And some of it we brought on ourselves. You cannot deny it. We'll flesh that out tomorrow. Also, President Trump says he's going to keep doing these outdoor rallies. I'm reading here from the New York Post. He says he posted this, obviously, on his Truth Social. I will continue to do outdoor rallies, and Secret Service has agreed to substantially step up their operation. Oh, boy, Don, you are really counting, Don's I guess you're a trusting guy, Don. I've never seen anything go wrong than what happened in Butler. So I guess they're going to step up there. That shouldn't be hard to step up that operation, certainly. But he's going to keep doing those outdoor rallies, even after the Secret Service urged them to stop it. So, but Trump's, I guess, not wanting to do that. But another big rally in Michigan over the weekend. All right, listen, thanks very much for joining me as I filled in for Dawn Stensland today. Thanks to Henry Mashett and to Jim Kelly for helping me out today. Thanks, guys, very much. Thanks to all of you that called in. And I look forward to coming back here tomorrow on the Dawn Stensland Show, and we'll reinitiate